The Delta surge continued to strain healthcare systems. A new economic forecast shows COVID-related restrictions are likely to slow growth here in North Carolina. Our source for this is UNC Charlotte Belk College of Business economist Dr. John Connaughton. Dr. Connaughton, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So you say the growth is going to be slowing due to Delta. What do you have to back that up? In other words, where do we get that?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, make sure everybody understands the first half of this year was really, really good. GDP in the state grew by over 6% in the first and second quarter of the year. By the third quarter, of course, we saw another spike, and we started to see some changes. A couple of things popped up pretty quickly. We started to see job growth, which had been really robust in the first 6 months of the year, really started to slow in July and August. And while unemployment numbers are still coming down, job growth has really slowed both nationally and in North Carolina. So we're expecting output in the second half of the year not to be negative. It's still going to be pretty robust, but it'll probably run about 4% on average in the last 2 quarters of the year. The good news, however, is that despite all of this, at the end of 2021, by the fourth quarter, we will have exceeded the 2019 fourth quarter output by 4.3%. So despite the horrible 2021 year, where one quarter we saw the GDP decline by 36%, by the end of 2021, we will have gained back all of the lost output that we had during this essentially 2-year COVID shutdown, if you will.
So what areas of the economy are booming and which ones would you say are busting?
That's a good question. Most economic sectors are back already at a level above where they were or right at where they were when this all began back in March of 2020. There are, however, a couple of sectors that are still lagging, and we already know what they are. Every viewer knows that hospitality and leisure services, which have the hotels and restaurants, are still 8-9% below where they were back in February of 2020. Also, other services are still down about 5% from where they were. So the service industry took a hit. 60% of the jobs that were lost because of the shutdown in the spring of 2020 came from those two sectors. And while they're clawing back fairly well, it's still problematic in those industries.
Well, how does North Carolina compare to some of our neighboring states? Let's talk about maybe Virginia to the north, South Carolina to the south.
Okay, excellent question. We took a look at the states and how they've done so far through the first half of this year. There are 15 states in the nation that have gotten back to the level that they were in the fourth quarter of 2019. The good news is North Carolina is one of those states. We came in, I think, 13th, just a little over 100% of what we had in 2019. But in comparison, South Carolina is in the group of 15 worst states in terms of where they are. So we've done fairly well navigating through this difficult period of time where businesses have had to struggle to keep things going. Part of the reason for that is we have a very, very large financial sector, business and professional services sector. And in those sectors, we were able to continue to produce output because people could work from home.
Yeah. Dr. John Connaughton from UNC Charlotte, the Belk College of Business. Thanks very much. Interesting analysis there. We appreciate you coming on today to talk about it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Take care.